The Abrams DU armor, for example. Gaijin refuses to buff it, by justifying it was only in 5 prototypes, but we also have T-80s with thermals, and vehicles like the 2S-38 or the German MiG-29 having R-73 despite not having them in real life, etc. It's very clear that Abrams needs its armor, as it doesn't have spore liners and has one of the biggest weak spots at top tier even when hull down. But what they do is add another premium vehicle to the US at 11.3 to make it literally unplayable. I have like a 29% win rate with the USA. And in RRB, we're still stuck with 7M Sparrows, while there are better alternatives like the 7P and the 7MH that has IOG and also data link. A feature the Russian R24 already has since 11.3 BR. Another one, how they made the ADATS a tank destroyer instead of an SPAA, so it costs twice as much to spawn after you die. This was a comment that I got about America and its current situation. And all I can say is I agree. America in War Thunder is oppressed. They have added so many weird things over the years to make the experience of America negative, and it can only have been to try and pump up other nations. Because as we all know, America, when it comes to military stuff, is just the best at everything, and has been since the Second World War. This is an undeniable fact, and nothing else can be changed. The only reason that Gaijin added the M1A1 AIM to the game was to nerf American top tier, to make sure that the Abrams wouldn't go out of control and just annihilate everything around it. And then once the AIM was in the game for long enough, and enough noobs had access to it, guess what they added again? The clickbait, to artificially nerf American top tier teams. How about the M24? Why is the M24 rank 2? That means you can't run it with dailies and stuff like that. And when you look at Japan, a non-oppressed nation, they have a rank 3 M24. How disgusting is that? How absolutely disrespectful to the main nation of the world is that? Also, at the same time, America doesn't even get its best equipment. Other nations get better versions of everything that America has, showing that they are willing to give other nations the better versions of American vehicles, but they just won't give them to America, showing a clear sign of oppression when you remove stuff from a nation and give it to others, even though it's the same technology. The F-104A and C are in the American tree. Guess what's in other trees? Oh yeah, that's right, it's the F-104J, it's the F-104G. How ridiculous is that? How about the F-5E for America? Oh look, there's another F-5E in the Japanese tree from Thailand, which is just better than it in every way. How about the F-4s? How other nations have the best F-4s? How about the fact that other nations have better F-15s than America too? This is obviously just straight discrimination. I'm amazed that they haven't been sued into the ground. Also, that's the same with tanks, once again, with the M24, but also with the Shermans. The fact that Italy has a better Sherman than anything in the American tree is ridiculous, and should be rectified. They should take all of those American vehicles out of those other nations and put them into the American tech tree where they belong, because then that would be fair. That would be something which would be completely fair in terms of the game. The other thing is, they're not even, in the American tech tree, getting their best or right ammunition. This is something that has happened for years to nerf America into the ground so they are awful to play. Whether it is with the Blue Water vehicles, where they haven't been given their right ammunition or right reloads, whether it is in ground, where for the longest time a lot of these vehicles were not given their correct rounds to use, just like stuff like the M833 for example, and oh, hey presto, when we start adding the M900 stuff, oh, guess what? American players start doing well. They're obviously not brain dead in the head, are they? Ooh, crazy. Then, also, at the same time, which would complement this stuff, you know what would have been great for America for the longest time? That's right! Historical matchmaking. The only reason that War Thunder doesn't have historical matchmaking is because it would make America overpowered. And as we talked about, Gaijin never wants America to even be similar powered. They They just want them to be underpowered. So they don't do historical matchmaking only for that reason. Historical matchmaking, if brought in, America would dominate the game, and this would just become America Thunder. And you know what? It should become America Thunder, because America Thunder is and would make sense. Because America is the world hegemon. They're the country that runs everything. They pay for everything. No other country exists at this current being, only America. And that's how War Thunder should be too. Every other nation should be secondary, should be seen as senile compared to the mighty American tech tree. And the way that you do that is through historical matchmaking, because America is always 20, 30, 40 years ahead in technology compared to anybody else in every scenario, in every piece of existence, in every parallel universe. They are ahead. The spore liners for the Abrams, that's just because America's really good at keeping its secrets. Do you see other nations being good at keeping their secrets? No, you don't, because they just get paid off, or they're just not America, so they don't end up actually, stopping spies getting around the place. With America, they have the CIA, and as we know, the CIA has never done anything dodgy ever, and they're just really nice people, and they're really good at keeping secrets, whether it is through, getting rid of certain people, or whether it is through conquering different countries. It's all in the greatest interest of America and keeping the secrets inbound. Now, the problem with this is it means that the Abrams doesn't get its spore liner, but it should do, because we all know it has one, because it's the best technology in the world. The M1, as an Abrams, the modern variants are easily the best MBTs in the world, and the only reason they have to artificially nerf them in War Thunder is because otherwise they would just take over the game. Everything would just be annihilated. Even with the reload changes, where they put it down to 5 seconds, I've personally seen videos of Abrams loaders loading those rounds in 1.7 seconds, because America, not just on top of having some of the best vehicles in the world, they also have some of the best people, and they were training from day one of birth to be able to load that APF SDS. You see in schools where they use guns to be able to understand how to load magazines. That is something which transfers into the Abrams itself. By the time that they're 15, 16, they are trained for battle, and they have the motion sorted to move the saber round into the gun. But unfortunately, because of, once again, artificial nerfs to America, we're not allowed to have that in the game either. Isn't that sucky? At the same time, they're just not allowed to dominate the seas at top tier. That's just not allowed either, which is ridiculous, because they should do. Because America has the best navy in the world. And if, once again, stuff was added at a reasonable pace, you wouldn't just dominate, the cruisers, which they do right now, and the destroyers. Hey presto, you would also do the battle cruisers and the battleships. But we're not allowed to do that, are we? Because we have to give other nations a chance. Why? Why do we have to give other nations a chance? America should just be the best, because it is the best in real life. That's how all of this stuff should work. They also add in a bunch of silly variants for vehicles, such as all the M60s. Do we need like 1 million M60s? How about yes, but you should make them super low in research, because as we know in America, they can pump them out as much as they want, because once they go into a wartime economy, they can just go crazy. So bring in all of the M60s from the other tech trees. Don't let anybody else have any M48s or M60s. Put them in the American tech tree and make them free for people, because they would be in real life. So just do it. Just do it. Make it so nobody else gets anything apart from America, because America, once again, is oppressed, and that's just sad and shouldn't be the case. Also, there's no subtrees for America. Why is that? I don't know, apart from the fact that America owns a bunch of other countries, whether it be militarily or strategically, and they're just not allowed in the tech tree. They should put Iraq in the good old American tech tree. They should put Vietnam in the American tech tree. They should put both Koreas in the American tech tree, Germany in the American tech tree, because America has never lost a war and always has had at least a strategic victory, because they are the best. So they should just put in all of those countries that they've conquered. Iran, might as well chuck them in too, because that would be a sign of dominance, which is shown in real life by America. Also, they're just not allowed to have more cool stuff, because once again, the government is just too good at keeping secrets. America has never leaked a secret, only they've leaked just stranded propaganda stuff to make people believe crazy things, so therefore they could turn around and do the switcheroo and do other crazy stuff. You know how this goes. America in War Thunder is in a sad place, it's in a depressing place, and it's an awful tech tree to play. They don't have any vehicles of any worth because they're all in other tech trees, and that is a straight sign of just horrific treatment. And hopefully in the future we can get stuff like the better Hellfires for the helicopters for America. We can get the Abrams having their correct real-life historical armor, which they just do not let the American vehicles have. We can actually get the proper AA systems, right, that they should have and should have had for a long time. And other people shouldn't even be allowed to spawn in planes because America has air superiority on every single one of the maps. That's right, you just spawn in and you are not allowed in your planes, because then you just get popped by a Patriot missile. Hoorah! Also, I can't believe they're holding hostage the mid-tier AA that's been ready for like 3 years for America, just so other nations could get access to AAs before them. This isn't like Guantanamo or something. You're allowed to let it out. Just get it going. I'd just like to thank Tullio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pieman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Alan Hacker, Ozzy Panzer, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Cam Arslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.